Welcome to the short session of standardized recipes presented by the Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs. In this short session, we will go over key terms and components of standardized recipes that will help build vocabulary and clarification of the requirements. Now, let's get started by first defining what a standardized recipe is. A standardized recipe is a recipe that has been tried, tested, evaluated, and adapted for use by a food service operation. It produces a consistent quality and yield every time when the exact procedures, equipment, and ingredients are used. In addition to providing consistency, written recipes made from scratch combination foods are required as part of menu documentation. Sponsors must demonstrate that recipes for combination foods are meeting the meal pattern requirements. Standardized recipes are a simple way to be sure that all component contributions are accurately credited in the recipe. There is no one official format for standardized recipes. However, there are 12 essential components that need to be included to ensure the recipe is made consistently each time. Pictured here is a standardized recipe form developed by the ODE Child Nutrition Programs. Let's walk through and define these 12 components. Number 1 is the recipe name, the name that adequately describes the recipe. Number 2 is the recipe category, the recipe classification based on USDA or local defined categories such as main dishes or meat alternates. Number 3 are the ingredients, the products that will be used in the recipe. Number 4 is the weight and or volume of each ingredient, the quantity of each ingredient listed in weight and or volume. Number 5 are the directions, the step-by-step process for preparing the recipe. Number 6 is the oven temperature and baking time, the appropriate cooking temperature and time for the recipe. Number 7 is the serving size, the amount of a single portion in volume and or weight. Number 8 is the yield, the amount in weight or volume of the recipe at the end of production. Number 9 is the pan size and number, the equipment to be used in preparing and serving the recipe to produce the proper portion sizes. Number 10 is the contribution to the food-based menu planning system, which identifies the food component the recipe contributes to. Number 11 is the nutrient analysis, optional information that lists the total calories, grams of fat, saturated fat, and sodium per serving. And finally, number 12 are the food safety guidelines, the procedures designed to ensure the safe production and service of food. As a reminder, the standardized recipe form developed by the ODE Child Nutrition Program is an optional format. Menu planners have the ability to modify the information included on the recipe as they see fit for their organization. Some additional components to consider adding if creating your own standardized recipe form are the serving sizes for varying age and grade groups, the product number to ensure the correct ingredient is being ordered and used, the labor instructions such as who will be preparing the recipe and at what time, the information for special diets highlighting food allergens within the recipe, an open column for adjusting the yield of the recipe, and finally, listing the cost per serving for staff awareness.